The day I found out I was pregnant, it was 2 weeks into my junior year. So I told my boyfriend, he was my boyfriend of about 2.5 years, and he took it a lot worse than I did. Lots of his friends and my friends didn't believe that it was his child. So there was a lot of people judging me, saying bad things about me, threatening to beat me up. He was abusive, so I didn't go to school at all. And it took me about 2 weeks to convince anybody at the school that I needed to get in a different program. I wasn't gonna let a pregnancy, being a single mom, change my goals. I was gonna let him, my son, be my inspiration to achieve my goals. I was in the tornado. It came directly over us. First siren went off and I called my mom and I told her what was happening, and she told me to go straight to my aunt's. So I was going straight to my aunt's, and on my way there, my mom was like, I'll meet you at Price Cutters. I got my son out of my car and I got into my mom's car. At that time, there was no wind, there were no clouds, there was no rain. And she knew, my grandfather had told her that it was at Iron Gates, which was a few minutes away from us. And so she knew my aunt lived by Iron Gate, so we weren't going there. And she said, let's go to St. John's, we'll be safe there. So we headed down Maiden Lane towards St. John's. And the first thing I remember is seeing the light poles lift out of the ground and start dancing. And then I felt a tree hit the car. And then I remember feeling the grass, and I remember feeling the car rolling. I was screaming and I had shoved myself into my son's car seat to protect him. But when the tree hit me, it knocked me out and I went limp. So my mom turned around and saw me being sucked out of the car. And when I woke up and became coherent, I was in Cunningham Park. And I found my mom's car and I got her and my son out. My son wasn't breathing. And my mom had to sternum rub him to get him to breathe. So after we got out there, we sat there for about 30 minutes before anybody came to pick us up and put us in a truck and took us to Freeman. I sat in Freeman waiting room until 3 in the morning. And someone had finally got through to my son's dad to come get us. And he came there, and by this time they had taken my son up with all the babies. They wouldn't let me up there, wouldn't let me in to get him because I had no proof that he was mine. So he went up there and he got my son and he brought him down to me, and I saw that there were no scratches on him and there was one tiny little bruise. I couldn't thank God enough. Everyone calls it a miracle. I believe it's a miracle, but I think it was a lesson. I think I learned a lesson that if I could go back to that day, I wouldn't change a thing. Because of the tornado, I had the courage to get away from my son's dad. My name is KAITLYN, and I'm undroppable.